someone tell me what I got wrong here, because I just think we're celebrating the wrong thing, sending the wrong message about the NFL. What happened to Lamar Jackson wasn't some great thing for social justice, and there was no crime done because he went at the end of the first round. I don't get it.
There's not very many things we agree on. And that's a good thing sometimes. But I agree with you here, because the whole first round thing, I think that everybody's been out of shape because you got a former Heisman Trophy winner, a dynamic guy who can play quarterback in this league, and everyone, all the talking heads said, he needs to move to wide receiver. And then for him to just continue to fall, because I think the teams really thought that somewhere along the way, maybe at 15, Arizona would have took him. New England moved and made a trade. New Orleans moved up, but before there was a lot of talk that Arizona was going to take him. Then New England moves into the 23rd position, and all the hype and all the talk that he might wind up in New England. And when he gets to the end of the first round, everybody's like, I cannot believe that a Heisman Trophy winner is not going to be drafted in the first round. That being said,
Danny Warfel,
all that nonsense I really don't care about. What I care about is the long-term success of Lamar Jackson. And in my opinion, the long-term success for Lamar Jackson would have been for him to go to New England. Let me ask you a question. How many quarterbacks in the 22-year history of the Baltimore Ravens have they developed? One. They drafted Joe Flacco, and they developed him. If you go back and you look at all the quarterbacks throughout their history, they haven't developed a single one besides him. This is not the ideal position for him to be in. He needs to be sitting behind a Tom Brady.
Not a guy fighting for his job in the rest of his career.
Absolutely. A Bill Belichick. You got an offensive coordinator, who can bring you along, who's proven that he's developed quarterbacks before. That would have been the ideal situation. But with all that being said, at the end of the day, okay, if the head coach might be on the hot seat and the GM is on his way out, hey, it might all work out in the end. And he just might wind up in New England.
I might lose 50 pounds next week.
Here's the thing. It is an NFL draft, so you don't get to pick, I'm gonna go to the Patriots. Well, every quarterback would want to do that and work with Josh McDaniels, Bill Belichick. Here's the thing with this guy. All right, he could come in and be playing for a new boss next year. Remember Randall Cunningham? This is the Randall Cunningham of this version. All right, he got Buddy Ryan. All right, did a great job with him. Actually took Jaworski out after first and second down and put Cunningham in on third down only. Crazy, but end up being a star. So you can't really pick where you go. But I think Ozzie drafted a kid in the first round, trying to hit a home run for the franchise on his way out the door. This guy's a special talent. I can't wait to see him play because he could be special.
To that point, I have a big problem with what you said. Nobody was hoodwinked here, first and foremost. I think as I watched this draft with my young son, Pierce, who is an aspiring quarterback, in 1983, I came out in the best NFL draft ever. Then it was 12 rounds. Many thought I would get drafted somewhere in the second and third round. I went 12 rounds, never heard my name. And that was painful to watch. Last night, I'm sitting there with my son, and we're sitting there watching Lamar Jackson slide. And we're saying, is this going to happen again? So I felt like that was reliving what happened to me back in 1983. We're not talking about Akili Smith and Donovan McNabb and all these guys. This guy has a transcendent skill set that nobody else has ever seen before. He brought this to the table. At some point, you have to say to yourself as a coach, and that's what I've done for a living, when is it my job to get these guys better? I don't need to have the same sandwich every time. I got this guy that has this unique skill set. I can integrate him and create things around his skill set and come up with something that's quite dynamic. Would Mike Vick have been the top pick of this year's draft if he'd come out? This is the closest kid that we've seen to Mike Vick since then.
Well, hold on. So you think things have moved backwards since Mike Vick?
I think that where people need to do is trust themselves and their ability to get the best out of the young men that they have. If you have this kid, his skill set you can't teach. It doesn't come around. That's a skill set that you want to see yourself moving forward with, that you can help your organization do things differently. Yeah.
Steve, you and I are friends, and I know your story well. Great player at San Jose State, beat the high majors, And people thought, at the end of that 83 draft, people said, okay, after Marino, Steve Clarkson's next. And then he never gets drafted. I get that. But it's not 1983 anymore. It's 2018. And in the last 10 years, we've had 4 black quarterbacks be the first quarterbacks off the board. You can't pretend like nothing has changed from 83 to now.
I'm not arguing black quarterback. I'm arguing a skill set that is unique. That's what I'm arguing.
We've seen it from Randall Cunningham.
You have not seen. Look, I know Randall Cunningham. When I didn't get drafted, he was the first person to call me, and I said he wanted to know what his fate was. I remember telling him, people don't realize this. Randall Cunningham was the best punter in America. Okay, and I remember having that conversation with him. I said, look, you're not going to have the same fate as me because nobody can deny you. You punt the ball 62 yards, on average. So they're going to take you for that alone. Lamar Jackson brings something that we haven't seen since Mike Vick, and I think he's a better passer coming out of it. That's it.
I think he's a better football player than people want to give him credit for. They've knocked him down to.
He just went 32. How much credit did he needed?
Because
31 more pieces of credit?
Because there's 4 other guys, in my opinion, 3 of those 4 that I believe that aren't as good as he is. I think Baker Mayfield fell right where he was supposed to. When I look at Lamar Jackson and his unique skill set, all it takes is for someone to be able to want to take that skill set and develop it. See, that's the problem with,
Baltimore just went up and got him.
I understand that, but he's at 32.
Is that an insult? Where did you go?
Hey, listen.
Would you have taken 32?
I didn't have a problem. I didn't have a problem going in the 8th round.
Would you have taken 32?
I would have taken him at 15. I would have taken him at 14.
No, I'm talking about you. If you had been drafted 32, how is that an insult?
Let me tell you something. It's not an insult because he has the opportunity to prove himself. Regardless of what the motivations were for taking him, he has an opportunity to prove himself. I didn't get that opportunity. So from that, I applaud the Baltimore Ravens for giving him that shot. But more importantly, they don't need a pity party. They went out there and said, we are going to make and develop this young man because we believe that what we were doing right now won't get us to the next millennium. We need a game changer.
They went and got a great kid who they can work and do magic with. Look, the quarterback coach out there has worked with Colin Kaepernick, who wasn't, the most, he was a little awkward, in his, way he did things. This kid's going to be a great player and a great talent. Ozzie Newsome went out to do the right thing. Could there be better places for him? Well, I'm sure there is, but I'm sure there's a lot better places for all the other guys picked too.
My fear is when you see these spread quarterbacks that come into the NFL, it's very few coaching staffs, offensive coordinators that take these guys and demand that they develop as an NFL pro quarterback. What they do is they take the offense that they ran in college and they implement bits and pieces of it at the pro level. And after 2 years, the defenses start to catch up because they always do. And once they catch up, then it's all he can't play. No, you didn't develop him. That's the problem. Develop his skill set the same way that you would develop any pocket passer and make him stand in the pocket, make him learn how to throw the ball on time, make him learn how to 3-step, 5-step, 7-step drop it, make him understand and know what protections and all those things are.
As soon as you try to do that, though, Seth.
Get fired. Yeah. That's the thing. And that's, I understand, hey, everybody should develop everybody they got, but the truth of the matter is everybody's in a win-now mode. So what can the kid do best? Hey, let's put it in there and let's do it. That's what it is. That's just the truth.
This is the last thing we got to go.
That's just the truth, Seth.
No, I understand.
We got to go. But I'll just say this, Seth. What happens, though, there's so much media pressure on Lamar Jackson. There's already stories. He can change the NFL. The media's not putting pressure on him to develop the way that Brady and some of the other quarterbacks did. They want him to change the NFL. And that means they want a coach to change the way they coach in the NFL. And they're risk adverse because there's too much money and they get fired too easily. So I just think the media does Lamar Jackson and quarterbacks with unique skill sets a disservice. I don't have a problem with this because I said it yesterday. If the Giants draft board didn't value Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, Josh Rosen, go with your draft board. If Saquon Barkley is who you have as the best player on the board, take him if you don't believe in any of these quarterbacks. If you believed in Sam Darnold, take him. I don't have a problem with them. And if Sam Darnold goes on to be the greatest quarterback in NFL history, They're just going to have to live with it, but I wouldn't apologize for it.
The entire first round to me was just chaotic because there was a lot of picks that happened that, the gurus didn't foresee happening. I'm still old school in my thinking. I still think that, every quarterback's best friend is a great running game. And I don't care how much they throw the ball, how much the league changes and evolves, how much is a quarterback-driven league. That's just my opinion. And I think these teams have to go and get the player that they feel fits what they do best. Now, Dave Gettleman said, hey, Eli's got a couple more good years in him. If we help him, he's got a couple more good years. And if that's how you feel, then you have to go get that transcendent player in Saquon Barkley. You have to do that.
Yeah,
Great move.
I think they did a great job there. Look, they got the new coach, the new GM. Their backup quarterback's this guy named Davis Webb, and he just beat out Baker Mayfield at Texas Tech. So everybody forgets that. There's a reason why that kid transferred. It's because this kid beat him out. So maybe this Davis Webb
coach was stupid.
has, or this Davis Webb has a little bit of talent. Maybe so.
Little bit.
But the nice thing is they get this running back, and that's got to help them. My God, that's going to help their whole team.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley, by far and away, was the best player in this draft, and it was a position of need. So there was no way that you could pass up on him. General managers get fired for making decisions like this. This was a no-brainer, in my opinion. Saquon Barkley, you got Eli Manning for at least another 3-4 years. If he has help, this certainly helps their cause. No problem whatsoever.
Steve, I heard you say before the show you thought Cleveland should have drafted Saquon Barkley.
Absolutely. Again, going back, the best football player in America, by far, Saquon Barkley. You go the Cleveland Browns, because it seemed to me that they were all hung up on Josh Allen until whatever the tweets were that came out. If you were that hung up on Josh Allen and he was your number one guy, then you stick to that. But you take Saquon Barkley and you live with Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, or Josh Allen at number 4. But you don't pass up Jim Brown. You just don't.
You think Saquon Barkley's Jim Brown?
I certainly do.